'Tis I.
Hey everyone, glad to see you back, glad to see you looking fresh. Now, in case you've been living under a rock and you haven't heard the news, Sora was announced as the final character for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which sounds crazy both two ways. One, that it is the final character of a game that has been supported for nearly 3 years now, and with this marks the end of a hype cycle that started pretty much back on the Wii U and hasn't stopped since. It feels like every couple of months we have new speculation, a new leak. Someone's talking about who the next character is. Clearly it has to be Geno. Clearly it has to be Master Chief. Clearly it has to be Banjo-Kazooie. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. This time, apparently the leaks were right. I didn't really see much about the leaks. I remember looking up to double check when the announcement was, and I remember seeing that it might be Sora, but Sora's been a name that's been in the conversation forever. He's always been there. He's always been a lot of people's number one pick, and even according to Sakurai himself, he was the winner of the fighter ballot back on the Wii U. Remember the fighter ballot? I remember the fighter ballot. I voted for Rambi the Rhino, and I stand by that. Rambi the Rhino would be a great pick, and I will not be convinced otherwise. He should be in Smash, but probably not above Sora. When he got revealed, and the overwhelming amount of support and happiness, I haven't seen a character this well received since Banjo. And it's so nice to see, because obviously someone like Byleth has their fans, but the backlash, it felt vastly outweighed the excitement behind the character. So finally getting to have some cohesive happiness and having hashtag thank you Mr. Sakurai be trending on Twitter right after just felt so great. And yes, thank you, Mr. Sakurai. If somehow you ever see this message, I cannot thank you enough for the amount of happiness and joy you brought so many of us fans over the years. Me included, I never thought that, even back when the Wii U version was coming out, that Little Mac would ever be in a Smash game. And now, despite his shortcomings, I use him all the time. And someone like Sephiroth, who makes so much sense after Cloud getting in, but I never would have expected. But he's here, and he's just the best to play as, and the amount of work that goes into these games, I can't even imagine. The amount of man hours and the amount of time. And seeing Sora finally in, I think really, really emphasizes that. Sora has so many legal issues that they would have to overcome to make this happen. Not only do they have to go through Square, which already was shown to be a bit of an issue working with, like, when the game first came out, Cloud had 2 music tracks, and that was it. They clearly worked with Square more to bring Hero, and they got Sephiroth in, so it seems like they gained a closer relationship in the process, so maybe that helped them a bit with Sora, but that's only one part of the problem, is there's Disney to deal with as well, and Disney is notorious for having very strong grips on their franchises, so to be able to get a character from them into this crossover, I can't even imagine. And it fills my heart with joy like none other. Like, the top 4 I kept hearing when the discussion of who was going to be the last character were always Sora, Master Chief, Goku, and Crash Bandicoot. Now, all 4 of them have been requested for a long time. Sora, like I said, won the Smash ballot, and I think is the best choice out of these 4. Now thinking about it more and more, because we love him over here in the West, and Japan loves him over there in the East. So it's a nice balance, because someone like Master Chief would have been monumental to us. But in the West, where Xbox doesn't really have a name, they would have been so disappointed. And that's an entire part of the community that would have just been let down. And that wouldn't have felt right. And someone like Crash Bandicoot also has more legal loopholes, and I think Activision is a tough company to deal with, especially now. I don't want to get too much into the problems that they've been dealing with, but I don't know. The Crash never felt right to me. If Crasher's in, I'd really want Spyro in too, and that's 2 whole slots, and then it's a tough battle when it comes to him. And then, of course, there's Goku, who's been a meme pick forever, and there's always a joke to put Goku in Smash. Like, he deserves it. He's the face of the anime community. He's this and that. I don't think he'll ever get in because the only rule we've seen is that it needs to be a video game character through and through. Like, obviously Goku has been in video games and he has starred in plenty, but he didn't start as a video game character, which is why, unfortunately, my guy Geralt will probably also never be in a Smash game. But it is what it is. It's a gaming celebration, right? It's a love of video games as a whole. We can all come together as fans of video games and celebrate every character in here, their legacy, what games they're from, and then if Smash can introduce you to someone you've never heard before, and then you'll go and you'll find an entire franchise of games that you would never have tried, then say you didn't. Say you play someone like, I don't know, Captain Falcon. You don't know who Captain Falcon is. There hasn't been an F-Zero game in a long time. But you see Captain Falcon, you love Captain Falcon. Just fall in love with a character that doesn't get a spotlight all that often. It doesn't get talked about all that often because his games aren't around anymore. But he gets a shot to be up there with some of the biggest video game icons ever. He gets to stand toe-to-toe with Mario and Cloud Strife, Mega Man, Pac-Man. All these characters that are so iconic. I wish someone like Captain Falcon was as iconic as they are. But fortunately he's not. And Sora is that iconic. You know, I know plenty of friends who wish Sora as their number one choice. And I, for so long, said there's no possible way he can make it. But I was wrong. I was happy to be wrong. Chief was my pick for the 4. And there's always that, well, I didn't get my choice, but seeing him stand there with the rest of the crew, it all felt just right. Nothing felt out of place, nothing felt forced, it all felt perfect. And I think that's the best way to say it, is Sora feels like the perfect end to this. And Kingdom Hearts is a game of crossovers, right? Kingdom Hearts is about celebrating Disney worlds, crossing over to Final Fantasy characters, and this strange amalgamation that should never have worked, but does. And Smash is a celebration of video games as a whole, so why not have a crossover icon crossover into the biggest crossover of all time? I can't wait to get Sora, have every character. There's so many characters in this game. I don't know how this game will ever be topped in terms of Smash games. I don't know how on the next console, if we'll even get a Smash game. We probably will, but who knows what'll happen with it. If it's better than this one, I would be very surprised, because as it stands, Smash Ultimate is one of my favorite games of all time. I'm sure it is for a lot of you guys as well, and I'm so happy to have Sora here. So, welcome in. I'm glad to have you. And I need to go play Kingdom Hearts 3 because I still haven't played it yet. And I feel bad. But I heard it wasn't great. But hey, I can give it a shot. Anyways, that'll about do it for me. Thank you all so very much for watching. As always, like this if you like this. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you at some point.